subscribe to Lloyd and JD, the best fucking podcast in the world. I am Lloyd.
I'm JD.
And last week, we had a good rant about the poppy. This week, we're not going to get into any rants about anyone as a cunt. But I just want to remind everyone, I hope they had a good Remembrance Day. I'm sure this will be out after Remembrance Day. So I hope that Remembrance Day was good. Remember not to put up your Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
Until Remembrance Day is over. But
exactly.
What's new?
Not much. Like I said, I've been busy. It's just trying to get things going. I'm cleaning out the office, which was probably a stupid thing to do. And I basically have everything in boxes. I'm completely disorganized, trying to get organized. And it's just, one of those things it's a constant mess. And, I don't know if you can relate, but my workspaces always get messy. And then I try to clean them up and then I get them clean. But
I don't really have a workspace. I'm a construction worker, so
yeah.
I just have tools.
Oh, but your art space and, where you used to draw.
I don't really have an art space anymore. I haven't drawn in like 3 years. So. Too much work going on, and with the kid, I don't feel like drawing. So
well, it's hard to get in that space.
And sometimes you're like, why am I drawing? It doesn't make sense, really. I'm drawing on a piece of paper for what?
Yeah,
it's gonna sit in my room. A picture I drew. Doesn't make sense drawing sometimes, does it?
No, especially now that we're not doing Comic Expo.
Painting used to have meaning back in the day. It was like a way of showing a photograph in a sense. Now it's meaningless because everything's wrapped up in social media. Even good paintings, just you end up seeing them on Facebook. So, what's the fucking point? You might as well just paint digitally and be a cunt, fake it, and fucking move on.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of people that do the digital art stuff, and I mean,
art's sort of like punk in a way. It's kind of died.
Yeah, a little bit. I think there's still space for it. I think artists has just evolved into something different. I find that like anything, art-wise, that people have a tendency to undervalue it. And, a lot of the times you put in a ton of time and people are like, oh, that's a great painting. That took you 100 hours. I'll give you $5 for it. You know, it's kind of that kind of attitude towards it because, I mean, mass-produced.
What these days is consider art, innit? Like podcasts and shit. It's what people are all into these days. The world's been taken over by fucking iPods and... iPhones and iPads and even what we do is weird. I'm not big into social media. I'm not big into YouTube. I don't even look at the comments. So if you guys cuss me out down there, I don't even know about it. So whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. Just so you know, every comment you do give to the page actually helps us. So give away. Yeah. Call me all the names under the sun if you want. Every comment's good.
There you go.
So, the world for me, I'm not interested. Yeah. And the more I go through it, the less interested I get. If you go back in Lloyd and JD, hopefully they start deleting themselves because watching old videos for me is cringy as fuck. I would prefer if like the last 5 were up and the rest could just fucking burn in hell. Because it's weird watching yourself and listening to things that you said 2 years ago. Maybe you wouldn't agree now. Like we just I just made a video about Remembrance Day and how white poppies are pissing me off. 5 years from now, maybe that video will be like, oh, well, why was I so angry about it? But things that affect your life now don't affect you.
It's true, and I mean,
so rewatching
life is a journey, and it's essentially you learn as you go along, and information changes, what's available to you, and what you know, and exactly. So I mean,
I don't
it's
want
a constant evolution.
A podcast in the past and think that me and JD don't respect women or I hate feminisms or. What we're against is radicalism of it and things being taken out of contrast. Everything has a good fight. Racism, feminism, sexism. Everything has a place and a time to fight it because, equality is huge and everyone should be treated equally. But when you're taking things out of context and you're making arguments where arguments aren't needed. You're creating that anger and you're creating a bad environment and you're creating negative energy, and that negative energy then creates more negative energy, and then we end up with a bunch of people arguing over something that never even needs to be argued about.
And I think the scary thing sometimes too is that the internet gives the appearance sometimes that these extreme voices are widely held.
Well, on the internet will give people like the last video we made. Yeah. Someone could take a snippet from that and make me look like a anti-woman. Yeah. And you can do that easily. Yeah. And it's fine if you want to go ahead and spend your time to do that. Do it, but it's.
You're part of the problem at that point because then you're polarizing things. And I think
instead of understanding how someone feels, and I think that's the biggest thing these days. Instead of just crying about everything and wanting everyone to see your point of view, we should all work on just trying to understand everything. Yeah. Because you can't fix everything.
No, not
and
at
you
all.
never will. And I think we need to understand that the most is that we can't fix everything. So you just kind of have to take things, understand why someone's crying about that. And then if you don't think that that's a cause for you, then you just move on with life and you carry on, because those things don't matter. How someone else feels during the day shouldn't stop you from living your life.
Right.
Unless you're obviously opposing yourself on someone, then, you're crossing boundaries. But
I mean, as long as you're doing your thing, you're not interfering with anybody else. I mean, it shouldn't matter, right?
Planet for 27 years, and I've probably been adultly conscious for I don't know, 10 of them.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 of them, probably more. I've been adult and able to understand things better, because when you're a teenager, you think you understand everything, but you just really don't. Usually I would go back and punch 18-year-old Lloyd in the face.
Yeah.
He was an idiot. And I think every year, if you haven't grown that way, then you're doing something wrong.
Oh, exactly.
So, I think the most important thing is just understand how people feel and understand where people are coming from, but don't ever push values and beliefs on everyone. And sometimes you got people it's like that thing I posted online. Like every year has had their thing. Like we've had wars to fight through. We've had, storms that we've had to fight through. And it seems that now people are just trying to fight through their feelings.
Yeah.
It's all gone fucked. Like millennials, they want to cry about everything. Yeah. And they want everyone to feel their pain, but we don't have anything to cry about. I think that's what it is. We're trying to find ourselves.
Right.
We don't have a purpose. The guys before us had wars to fight, and they had, there's nothing for us, is it? It's just everyone trying to fight for their right to.
I mean, generally speaking, we live in Canada. Canada is a pretty good place.
I think people are getting bored.
Yeah, I think, it's like, when you go to work or you go to school, there's always that one person that needs the drama. They need the attention.
But that seems to be 90% of the population right now. And it's the younger people coming up. Because you got the people your age, they don't really talk too much. They don't really tell you how they feel. It's all closed in, sort of. They might among their families, but they don't have a voice in the world. You don't see them posting on Facebook.
Yeah.
You don't see someone update their status feeling sad today. Somebody looked at me funny on the train because I have my nose pierced. When I was growing up, tattoos and piercings were fucking niche.
Yeah.
If you had tattoos and piercing, you was either a criminal,
or a sailor,
or a sailor.
But they're criminals anyways.
You was usually looked at as a criminal.
Yeah.
Now, if someone looks at you differently because you have a nose piercing, you're allowed to cry all day and rate 9 status updates about how the world should see you as an individual and see you as. It's get over it.
But is anybody really listening to that?
Yeah, and that's the problem. In our time, no. And I say our time because I could be put into a millennial category, but I choose to stick to the older category because that's how I view the world. Maybe it's the way I grew up, maybe it's my parents, maybe it's what it is. I think it's for the best. But the people that are my age or younger that are growing up, they do. And they jump on board. That's the worst thing about it. The worst thing you can do is it's like when I was class clown, right? I'm making jokes in the class and the teacher would say, don't laugh at him because you fucking egg him on. And it's true. The more laughs you get, you're like, nah, they thought that was funny. Here, try this one out. And that's what's happening.
Yeah.
These people write their status comment somebody called me a freak today because I had eyebrow piercings and my hair is blue and I wear suspenders and I had arseless chaps on, and you're like, and then you get 9 other people underneath that are like, yeah, it's unbelievable, people do the same thing to me, and then blah, and then it snowballs, and before you know it, you got an army of crybaby cunts.
Yeah. An interesting thing is I saw a Facebook status. I'm not going to say who it was or anything like that, but it was basically the individual had gotten beaten up. And I mean, obviously violence is wrong. You don't go around beating people up. But, they were like, this guy was a prick that beat him up. He didn't even defend himself, and all that kind of stuff. And, it was kind of like, it's like, look what happened to me. And it's kind of like, getting beat up is a bad thing, right? But to say they're like, I'm a kind of like a pacifist and I didn't fight back and, that's a mistake. It's a mistake. If somebody is beating you up, protect yourself.
I think
Absolutely.
we've all got remember that thing that we're animals.
Yeah.
Animals are it is what it is. You fight, you have fights. If someone's attacking you, you kind of need to fight back or you're going to die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What you can't expect the world to all be the way that you think the world should be.
Right.
Because that's crazy. And I feel like we're in this state right now where they do think that. They think that the world should all be this way. And it's all these fights that we've got going on, like transgender and gays and racism. And they're like, everyone should be this way. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is if you ever find yourself in a situation where someone is really going beyond their way to abuse you or something, you have to protect yourself.
Yeah. You have to.
Or
you
run
have
away. Or run away.
Or do something. But don't take a beating just so you have a Facebook post is kind of my point, right?
And honestly, if you took a beating and you was Facebook posting about it, it wasn't a big beating.
Yeah.
Because I've had some beatings, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be Facebook posting. You know, I had a beating once. I had to peel my face off a pillow.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know where the cuts were. I wasn't Facebook posting about it.
Yeah.
Because it hurted. And I couldn't see Facebook because my eyes are swollen shut. Like, you know... If you're Facebook posting, Facebook posting is getting out of control.
Right. I mean, you know, it's the world's kind of a funny place, and like I said, I think, you know, sometimes the extremes get too big of a voice, and people think that that's what everybody thinks, and it causes, in all honesty, those voices on the extreme, you know. Opinions and everything like that, it's like a pendulum, right? Sometimes, you know, the left is kind of, you know, where it's at. Sometimes the right is. But, you know, because we have these extremes, I find that the pendulum swings that far and it overcorrects. And that's problematic because then you've got, you know, extreme right behavior and extreme left behavior. And that's the crazy part about it.
When did sharing your dirty laundry become...
When did telling anybody how you vote or what you think, you know, like along those lines become a thing? Your vote is private. Like, you don't have to tell people.
Not even that. Like, the other day, like, lonely, feeling lonely, nobody likes me. Like, why have you posted that on Facebook?
Because it's attention-seeking behavior.
I know, but what the fuck, man? Yeah. Just be lonely.
Because
shut the fuck up.
Because exactly the point. They'll say, I'm lonely. They get the attention that they want. That behavior continues. And I mean, you know, there are definitely...
You know what, though? Because it's like at arm's length.
Yeah.
It's like, if it was like in real life, it's like being in the mall, being like, I'm lonely, and someone across the mall being like, oh no, like you're on Facebook. Anyone that ever reached out for you on Facebook, guess what they are? I think
if you're lonely, social media is the worst fucking place in the world for you to be because you are going to look. No word of a lie. I think social media is terrible, right?
If you're know why you're lonely.
If you feel you're bad, if you feel bad about yourself, if you can't take criticism, if you can't, you know, have people poke fun at you and all that kind of stuff, the internet is not the place for you because that's what it's all about. I mean, if you go on Instagram, 90% of the people are showing you these fabulous lives that they live and we're awesome all the time. It's fucking bullshit. It's not real. It's what they want you to see. I guarantee you half the time they're probably depressed and not very happy with what they are in the world. I was talking about that with
fucking my fiance yesterday. Like, she follows like celebrities on Instagram and I was just like, I find it weird. And she's like, well, it's not weird. I'm like, well, it fucking is weird because when did finding out what Lizzie McGuire had for fucking lunch become important?
Right.
I don't know. Like, I like Eminem.
Yeah.
It's good rapper.
Yeah.
But I don't give a fuck what Eminem had for lunch today. I don't give a fuck what shoes he wore. I don't care what jeans he buys.
Yeah.
I don't care what he dyed his hair with or whether he has a beard or no beard. I don't give a flying fuck. I saw Eminem for the first time in like 10 years the other day and he had a beard and I was like, oh, that's Eminem? Weird. He looks different. End of story. I do not fucking care. Maybe that's why fucking shows don't appeal to me because I don't want to see you. You sing. That's it for me, man. Like, you rap, good rap. Don't want to meet you, don't want to see you, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care. The fact that people give a fuck what Lizzie McGuire or Eminem had for fucking lunch is beyond me. Like, who gives a shit what he nourishes his body with? Like,
and if you're going to compare yourself, like if you take the Kardashians, for example, who post out all the stuff that they do, if you're going to compare your life, you know, when you work at a minimum wage
job
gonna be
or slightly motherfucker.
You're going to be depressed. Absolutely. And then you're going to go and do stupid shit like buy stuff that you really can't afford. Like, well, I'm going to buy the latest Kardashian jeans or whatever the fuck they cost. You're going to build their empire even more. You're going to have them. Your life is not going to prove any sense to the way. In fact, it'll probably get worse because it's like, well, I bought these jeans, now I can't afford rent. My life sucks. You know, it's unrealistic kind of comparison. Like I said, I just came back, you know, from Asia, and I mean, I was in Malaysia, poor country, but you know what? People were happy. They were having a good time. Enjoying food, enjoying company,
kids
all that kind
in the
of stuff.
Streets, all that shit.
Exactly.
Here you got kids at home like, nobody loves me, status update, unhappy face, / I'm a fucking silly cunt. Like,
they're enjoying life on a base level, and I think that's kind of the problem with North American society is we forget to enjoy life on a base level, Facebook, and we use social media as our life, and that's not the fucking case.
I have Facebook for two reasons. funny videos
Yeah.
of people doing stupid shit on fucking construction sites.
Yeah.
And laughing at motherfuckers that be updating their status every 5 fucking minutes about how they fucking made noodles 5 minutes ago because it's a fucking joke.
Yeah. I'll share what I'm doing work-wise. I will basically...
share fuck all. I share videos. If you have me on Facebook, you probably know by now that it's fucking useless. I don't even have pictures of my daughter on my Facebook unless they're fucking, connected to my fiance's page and people see it that way. But because it's got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
If you have me on Facebook, 9 times out of 10 is I will never meet up with you.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you're on Facebook. I don't even know why you're on my Facebook. My Facebook is just kind of there.
Yeah. And I have it for Messenger so I can communicate with people.
If you know where I live and you've met my daughter, that's probably because you're involved in my life and we're friends. If you haven't, take a fucking hint.
There you go.
Like, I don't see a point in it. I stay away from it, to be honest with you. It makes me feel weird. But then I do this, so I kind of contradict myself because. But then I don't watch my own podcast.
Yeah, so. But then again, I mean, it's like go back to the roots of this. I mean, we used to just hang out at your place and we used to talk, and then we go paint stuff, and that was kind of it. It's kind of, and then at one point we're like, let's just record this shit for science and, let it out there. And to be honest, we never cared if anybody watched or not or listened, So, I mean, that's kind of what it is. It was just a place for us to talk about what we would talk about on a regular basis and get it out there.
Right now, you've probably just updated that you're lonely as fuck on Facebook. So we're laughing at you.
Well, I know it's
and that's probably why we'll never get famous, JD.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly it. But I mean, I don't think the point was ever to sort of become famous. It was just to go and put our voice and opinion out there.
I'd probably stay away from it anyway. I kind of stay away from things. Yeah. You show up, people will see you more than they see me. I'm kind of sheltered with my own life because I don't like people. I don't like the views of the world today, and I use this podcast to relieve some anger. As you'll see in some of my, I can go pretty off on some things, but that's as far as it goes for me. Yeah. I don't heckle people in the street. If I see someone with a white poppy, I don't rip them off with them.
Right.
Mine's all verbal, and usually it's all on the podcast. I say things, I move on. That's how I get it out. It's fine, but then you got people on the street that'll fucking, seen people in America. There's videos of people like attacking people wearing Trump's hat. Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, you see that stuff is absolutely ridiculous.
Who the fuck are you? Like, it makes me angry because if I ever saw that happening, whether I support Trump or not, I would stand up for the person with a hat on because you're attacking someone.
You know what? The crazy stuff with all that kind of stuff is you look at Trump and like people are so worked up about it, and there was enough people to vote him in. Like, I'm not a big fan of the guy. I think he's crazy.
People can't even wear their own hat. Like, they can't even walk around with a hat on. And that's why it was so silent. That's why people were so fucking shocked. Because these people that are against Trump, take a look in the mirror. You're so violent. You're so abrasive. You're so fucking invasive that people were so scared to tell you. They were so scared to stand up for who they were actually voting for that when the vote went through and Trump won, you were so fucking shocked. You thought it was a fucking fraudery because you pushed those people into corners to the point to where they didn't want to tell you that they voted for Trump. Yeah. That should tell you that you've gone around this the wrong way, and then you're fighting as if that you're the funniest thing is, like, I'm just going to use Star Wars because it's like the best thing I can use right now. You're fighting as if you're like not the dark side, but you are the dark side. Yeah. You're fighting for something good, but in a sense, you've pushed those people that were fighting for what they believed in into a corner to where they feel like they can't speak out. And it just goes to show with these people. I watched a video just the other day of a man wearing a red hat, and he got attacked in class by a black woman. And it's like, who gives you the right to attack this guy because of his hat? It doesn't matter if you don't believe in Trump or think that he's a racist. That doesn't matter.
And a red hat doesn't mean it's a Trump hat.
But no, it was a Trump hat. Oh, okay. But that doesn't matter. Who gave you the right to fucking abuse someone because you think that you're standing up for the better cause? You have just done what you're against. You're against abuse against black people, but you've just abused a white man for wearing a hat of someone that he follows. And Trump's not an open fucking racist. You can have your opinions over Trump being a racist, but he's a president of America. Yeah. He hasn't...
It's the sad thing is, it's democracy, folks. People are going to be upset. Not everybody can be a winner. Despite what they say in your little league soccer team that everybody's a winner, there are losers. There are people that don't win. And, ultimately at the end of the day, when you have a vote, and especially when it's so very close.
That you're a fucking guardian of peace. Yeah. and fighting for what's right in the world. Like, I'm fighting against racism, and then you're gonna go and abuse a man for wearing a hat.
Yeah, no.
That's not. You're not fighting for peace.
And again, that goes back to the pendulum. You're putting that pendulum out on the extreme left, and again, when the pendulum corrects,
it's like
because of things like that, it'll be too far to the right.
Well, it's like when Hillary was going. You know, I don't want to fuck. If you're gonna write in about politics, we're not gonna read it. But you know, when she was fighting and she lost, all of her followers were for feminism, and they were for. She had that backing, right? And when they lost, they like burnt like 2 Starbucks to the ground and like tipped a bunch of cars over. And it was kind of like, it reminded me of my daughter when I tell her that she can't do something that she doesn't want to do. They had tantrumed.
Yeah.
It was nuts. Like, and these were the people that were fighting for justice, and it didn't make sense. And if they did their research, Starbucks was backing Hillary and they burnt 2 of them to the ground. Yeah. So it made me laugh because it just goes to show that like these people that fight for this justice, these people that think they're like fighting for what's good in the world, they've then turned around and burnt down a store.
And not only that, take the Starbucks equation out of it. There's probably 10 or 15 people that work there that probably make minimum wage, that are students that are just scraping by, and you just trash their jobs.
Just trash it, and then think about other scenarios. There's so many scenarios we can think about. Think about if I was walking past with my daughter, and you've just put me in a violent situation of where you're smashing windows and shit, and I've got to protect my children now because you're incorporating peace somehow. Yeah. What?
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
It's like these Antifa or whatever the fuck they're called.
Antifas.
What the fuck is that? Yeah. Going around with balaclavas on and baseball bats, and that's supporting peace somehow and fighting neo-Nazis? Like, what?
I don't think they're a peaceful movement, but that's
I don't think the neo-Nazis are a peaceful movement, and neo-Nazis are fucking idiots. But the funniest thing about neo-Nazis is there's few of them, and every time they get together, it's like 10 people on a corner, like yelling racist comments. Like, who cares? Yeah. If you can't look past that in your life, then you're gonna have a hard fucking day. Like, I'm not. It doesn't bother me at all. Like, I'm not racist. I don't stand.
They got no power, and just
Yeah, you're just standing on the corner yelling what you believe. That's like me standing on the corner being like, oh.
It's like the guy that stands on the freeway and sign the world's gonna end, and all that kind of stuff.
Do you really need an anti-group for that?
Do you need to go beat him up because of his opinion, which is probably not happening? No, you don't. You just you let him exist, you ignore him, and all that kind of stuff.
Neo-Nazis are never gonna take over America. You know what I mean?
Like, as long as he doesn't start going out and hurting people, it shouldn't matter. Right?
Yeah, like obviously if there's a gang of neo-Nazis going around fucking killing people or hurting people,
then that's an absolutely different thing, and I'm sure the police would be involved in a second.
When you've got people like just going and causing violence because some people want to shout weird stuff on the side of a road, like go for it. Like, I don't necessarily like it when people stand on the side of the road with those abortion photos.
Exactly.
Because my daughter has to look at pictures of aborted fetuses, which shouldn't be shoved in your face. Like, and obviously that's it's a point of view. Yeah. So now, you've gone too far.
And it forces you to have a conversation with your daughter that you're not necessarily ready to have.
It's just not a good thing to do. So if you do that and you feel like you're part of a good cause, like as much as you have your beliefs and you are part of a good cause in your head, just know that you're making a hard day for a lot of people, and it's frustrating, and it causes a lot of negative.
Nobody likes it when you shove your opinion down somebody's throat. That's really what it is.
Especially not that way.
You can have your opinion.
Stand on the side of the street and yell abortion is bad all you want, but when you start showing pictures of dead fetuses,
you're stepping over a line.
Too far. Not only is that fetus was someone's child, whether or not you believe in abortion or not, you do not have the right to put that picture out. And two, no one, like, people, like, they use it as if, like, shock, like, we're showing you the real truth. Like, what, you think that women don't understand that when they're getting an abortion, they're aborting their baby and their fetus? Like, this is the decision that's made at home in the privacy of your home. And most people, when they go to abortion clinics, they go secretly, or they go by themselves, and it's for their own reasons. There's many reasons to go to an abortion clinic. Yeah. I'm not, I've never been to one, but I stand behind the women that make the decision to go. But then that, and that's another sexist argument too. Like, there was a photo on Facebook the other day of a man crying in the reception of an abortion clinic because his girlfriend at the time had decided to get an abortion and he had no say in it. And that's bad.
That's harsh. That is harsh.
Because that's an argument that I feel like should be gone at more than, because it's a choice between two people, but you'll find that women will make that choice for themselves. And it's a huge argument because people claim they go through the heartache and whatever, but these people got together and they had that mistake themselves. So they need to deal with that together. But it's sad either way. But to stand on the street here and show pictures of a dead baby is too much in my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, that's all we have time for this week.
I'm Lloyd.
I'm JD.
Peace.
See ya.